How would Manchester United line up under Ruud Van Nistelrooy if he was to take over as the interim manager? First, to understand this, we need to take a look at his time at PSV. So at PSV, he managed them for one full season from 2022 to 2023, guiding them to a second place finish in the Eredivisie. He won the KNVB Cup and the Dutch Super Cup, which is the Johan Cruyff Shield. If we're talking about his style of football, the formation he primarily used was a 4-3-3 system, sometimes shifting to a 4-2-3-1. He has a focus on an aggressive high press with the team pressing from the front. Wide attacking play was a key element. There would be a resilience on fast, creative wingers to stretch the field. He focused on fast breaks, counter-attacks, and direct play. And an element of that was possession-based. Balanced attack with maintaining possession, but lean towards vertical play over slow build-up. What was Ruud Van Nistelrooy good at as a manager? So, developing youth. He successfully integrated young talents into the first team, particular players like Xavi Simons, Cody Gakpo. Of course, he worked with Jarrad Branthwaite as well. His man management was fantastic. He was known for building good relationships and having this kind of key, intimate conversations with players, helping them grow in confidence. We've seen clips from the dressing room, all the camaraderie around him. He has that character and that kind of personality which Ten Hag lacks at times. Much like Ten Hag, though, he has success in the cups. He was effective in knockout competitions, winning 2 domestic trophies. And people think just because he's a striker, he's only good at attacking phases or attacking coaching, but he has a really good defensive record as well. His team has the second best defence, or had the second best defence, should I say, in the Eredivisie, only conceding 40 goals in 34 games. But every manager has his flaws, right? He's not perfect. At periods, there was inconsistent league form. Whilst he was strong in the domestic cups, I think PSV lacked consistency in the league at times. Finished second, but falling short of Feyenoord by 7 points. I think they struggled in the Europa League as well. He was eliminated in the round of 16 by Sevilla, showing tactical limitations against the head coach at the European level. Also, offensive stagnation. His teams would struggle to break down a bit more of low block defenses, showing a need for more creative solutions and something he needs to improve on. So there are some red flag comparisons with him and Ten Hag. Now, I mentioned key player development before, and there was 3 in particular I want to talk about. Xavi Simons, Cody Gakpo, and Jarrad Branthwaite. Now, Cody Gakpo, before his transfer to Liverpool, absolutely thrived under Van Nistelrooy, scoring 13 goals and assisting 17 in the first half of the season. Xavi Simons had a breakout season as well, 19 goals and 8 assists, becoming like I was saying before, very key pivotal players in that system, and when they was missing, it was really noticeable. Likewise with Jarrad Branthwaite as well, who we all know about, went on loan from Everton, developed into a really reliable centre-back for PSV, and became a key cog in that back line. Right, this is where we get into the stats then. Let's take a look at some key stats. In the Eredivisie, his record, play 34, won 24, drew 6, lost 4. Goals scored, 89, which is the second best in the league. Goals conceded, 40, second best in the league. And points, 78, finished, which is obviously second best in the league as well. Knockout record, I mentioned before, won the KNVB Cup, won on penalties versus Ajax, and then beat Ajax again in the Dutch Super Cup, 5-3. In a thrilling game. So it's a difficult one because the Eredivisie, how much of a measuring stick is that for managers? Ronald Koeman won a league title, Erik ten Hag won a league title. There's been plenty of managers there that have won league titles, but they're not necessarily gone on to be that world-class elite coach in terms of winning Champions Leagues and Premier Leagues. I think he's shown great potential, particularly in developing young players and, like I said before, the cup competitions, but he needs to refine his tactical flexibility and consistency in the league, and we need that right now, and that wouldn't be guaranteed if he did come in. He's a part of the current coaching setup, don't forget that. Granted, it would be initially on an interim basis if he did get the job, and if Erik ten Hag does go, but I don't think we can get carried away like we did with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think you need to be careful about throwing contracts out willy-nilly, and I trust a lot more in the current regime and structure around him to not do that. I want to get into how we could potentially set up at United. Let's have a look at that. So this is pure speculation, just using his time at PSV basically as a mirror. Look, one thing he'll definitely do is he'll focus on developing young players. I think that's his strong point. I mentioned before, players like Gakpo, Simons, Branthwaite. You look at our current crop of players, I think Garnacho, Kobe, Yoro, they would likely flourish and they would develop into better players. Garnacho is someone I would keep an eye on in particular because he loves his attacking sharp wingers. So Rashford, Garnacho are 2 people that I would look at. In terms of style, it's not a million miles away from Ten Hag. I've mentioned this on live streams before. Quick transitions, direct attack, proactive football. There's different details, of course. You look at the pressing under Van Nistelrooy. He likes an aggressive high press, but more direct in transitions after winning the ball, whereas Ten Hag on paper, likes a high press, but focuses more on counter-pressing immediately after losing the ball, with then a focus on winning it back higher up the pitch to maintain possession. In build-up, both are direct, vertical, and often not having most possession, the majority of possession in games, should I say. So they're different in profiles, but they're still very similar Dutch methods. So for anyone who wants a huge, significant change, I don't think it would necessarily bring that, as opposed to if you was to bring in a Tuchel or someone else. When we compare their defensive setups from both coaches, we talked about the attacking play. Van Nistelrooy has strong emphasis on defensive solidity, but focuses more on getting the ball forward quickly after winning it. Again, in theory, Ten Hag wants to, look for a high defensive line to compress space and keep the team compact, relying on controlling possession to limit the opposition chances, although it doesn't work most of the time. It's just turned into a whirlwind at United. This is what he did at Ajax more. How would Manchester United line up under Ruud Van Nistelrooy? Again, speculation. Going off principles from the PSV team, I think Onana would start in goal. Talk about distribution and ability to play out from the back would suit his preferences for quick transitions, especially the long balls that Onana can do as well. At right back, I think Dalot offers pace and forward runs, which Van Nistelrooy values for stretching play on the flanks. Centre-backs is an interesting one. I think Yoro would come in. Like Branthwaite, strong, quick, good in the air, and good on the ball, all key components. And then alongside him, Lisandro Martinez, aggressive defending, ability to play out from the back, aligns with his desire for a progressive defender who can link play. At left back, I actually think Tyrell Malacia would come in. With Luke Shaw injured, I think Malacia's pace and attacking intent on the left fit the winger-focused system Van Nistelrooy employed at PSV. Defensive midfielder, I think potentially Ugarte. He'd provide the necessary defensive cover, allowing the more attacking players to focus on transitions and creative moments. He could just sweep up and do the dirty work, which is why we brought him in initially, but still, Christian Eriksen's playing as a 6. As the box-to-box next to Ugarte, we're talking about legs. Mason Mount's energy and ability to press would be useful in a high-tempo system, and his versatility would allow him to play higher up when needed. The advanced playmaker, Bruno out. I think Xavi Simons comes in. He'd be the creative hub, given freedom to roam and contribute offensively if you can get that deal done. Right winger, Garnacho fits Ruud's system, the kind of mould for wingers, quick, direct, willingness to take on defenders, stretch the play. So Garnacho on the right-hand side, I don't think Ahmad would come in. And then the left side, similar situation. Rashford's pace and directness is perfect for him, and he'd become a key figure if he can iron out some form of consistency. Maybe Ruud's the right guy to get that out of Rashford, but millions of coaches have tried before, and a million coaches have failed before. And as your striker, the centrepiece of the team, obviously Ruud Van Nistelrooy was a striker himself. Who would he trust in that position? I think it'd be Rasmus Højlund. I think he's got a good relationship with him at the moment. If you look at how Ruud used Luke de Jong at PSV, we talk about physicality, ability to finish is great. But I think if he is going to go for that kind of target man, that kind of physical striker, maybe Xerxes fits the profile more. I'm not sure. But Højlund needs to work on his link-up play. He needs to, kind of hold defenders off much better. He needs to be a bit more wiser, which will come with time and experience, of course. So maybe, perhaps, Ruud will go with someone like Alexander Sorloth, who's much more like a Luke de Jong, profile-wise, strong physical presence in the box. He's got excellent aerial ability and the knack for holding up the ball to bring other teammates into play. So, again, transfer market might go in there. We're talking about someone who's aerially dominant, hold-up play, natural target man for crosses into the box from your Garnachos or Rashfords if they fucking cross it. So, that's how I think Ruud would line up. But, again, we could visit this video back in a year's time if he is in charge, and it could be way off. But just my thoughts. So, the conclusion then. How do we feel? Has that made you feel any different about Ruud? Or any more positive, any more negative? Would you take him on an interim basis, given the current situation? Do you think, he'd do a good job initially as an interim coach? How do you see future at United? Should we take that gamble if Erik Ten Hag goes? Something also to leave you with as well, a parting gift, if you will. He is a part of the current coaching setup. So how the players are playing on the pitch, he has had an effect in that, and he's had a say on that. Now, he doesn't have a full influence because he's not the head coach. So tactically, formation-wise, all that kind of stuff, he doesn't set up. So maybe that will change. But it's just something to remember. He's a part of the current coaching staff. Same with Rene Hack. The grass isn't always greener on the other side, I suppose, is what I'm trying to say. But I would love to know your thoughts and feelings on this situation. So make sure you get them in the comments section. Don't forget to like and hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in the next one.